A Mother's Podcast is your weekly dose of two moms navigating life and rewriting the motherhood blueprint.
We're here to give you our real and unfiltered opinions on life's most complex topics.
All truth, no sugarcoating, on Muvas.
All right. We back in this thing?
Hello, sis. I didn't even know you was ready because you know you trying something new this week. This is StreamYard.
Yes, girl.
Girl, you gotta remind me because normally I'm the one who be like 1, 2, 3, 4. But no, shout out to the other podcast that we did because they gave us the cute idea to use StreamYard. So we just want to see what it's like, you know?
Yes, Mama didn't tell me this. Yes, shout out to them, girl. These technical difficulties were a hot mess, but prayer changes things. So thank you to Ari who got the big man on the main line. Okay.
Look, I be calling Jesus up. Listen, homie, I don't know what this is, but this ain't your plan. This ain't your will because you wouldn't have me out here looking crazy. So, sis, how was your week?
Of course, my week was good. No new updates, work and the babies. My Mother's Day was amazing. I'm very happy. Tears of joy, moved, just super, super grateful for everything. I do have some kind of an update. Girl, I did my 23andMe and I got the results back. And I'm shocked.
You Dominican.
I mean, that doesn't change. But there's some stuff that I found that I'm like, wait a minute.
What's T, sis? What are you? What we got?
When I saw 12% European, specifically Irish, who is Irish in my family?
The colonizers.
Don't do me like that.
The colonizers. Because you was giving us real Black Panther vibe and they said, ooh.
No, sis, I'm still, that there's an 86% Nigeria in there. So,
okay.
We still got Wakanda forever. All right.
Naja girl.
But I was just wondering because, I assumed that it was way back somewhere in the lineage, but they trace how far back. And we're just talking like maybe 4 generations, 4 decades or so ago. So
No. That makes sense. 4 decades ago would have been not your daddy, not his mom. Your grandma's mama, y'all from Wilmington, that's slavery. That's what that was, sis. That's why it's 4 back. Okay, y'all need to get me on Ancestry.com.
Listen, but see, the thing is, we don't know which side. It could be paternal, it could be maternal. But what I will say is, it explains the red hair. My baby, my oldest son has red hair, and the baby has green eyes. I found distant cousins. They're not distant cousins. My second and third cousins are on this app. There's about 400 of us that are related, and a good 50 are second and third cousins. And all of my closely related cousins have red hair and green eyes. It's real creepy. So yeah, I'm passing family all in the streets. How was your week?
So far, so good. So I'm officially unemployed for the week. Don't do the sad face, girl. I ain't never been unemployed a day in my life. I'm really trying to soak this in. I'm doing broke bitch shit all week.
Okay.
Period. Get up when I want to, do what I want to, move how I want to. But no, for real, out of this whole COVID thing, I've been really blessed to have my job. As you know, I'm working from home now, home office, everything. Like I have a whole setup here. So I've been super blessed. And part of the protocol was that our company, certain people had to be furloughed for an amount of time. And mine is only a week. So this is the week I chose. Yesterday was the anniversary of my dad's death, 4 years in. So I just kind of took some time and I felt like this was the best week to take a break. So I'm taking a break and I'm just doing whatever I want to do every day.
And that's so needed. You've been on go, so a break is needed. Good.
Definitely.
I'm happy with that.
Definitely.
Well, we got a lot going on tonight. And we are always talking about motherhood, our village, and especially sisterhood. So in the prep for this show, we decided, what better way? And we're real particular. We've had 2 seasons now, and we are deep into season 2, and we've not had guests.
No features. What J. Cole say, I do it with no features. No features.
So the guests that we have tonight are clearly important and part of our team, part of our village.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we got our sisters on. Brown Sugar and Sasson. That's your bestie, Asia Nicole, bringing her on in. And then my bestie from, we weren't besties in high school, but we became close after school. Alicia, she's been a part of my village for 15 years. Yeah. So bringing on our girls. Hey, ladies.
Hey. Hello. Y'all in y'all bedrooms. Well, Asia, we know you're in my bedroom, but
definitely.
Y'all is looking real comfy. So thank you guys for doing the show with us. It was very important for us to have guests, because motherhood would be nothing without the people who support you through it all. Because everybody knows it really takes a village to raise your kids. But not only that, but you guys said that you would be open to do our show and that you would be very vulnerable tonight. So hope we don't offend you. My mouth is known to do that to people. But we just want to have fun, and thank you for doing the show.
Yeah,
you're welcome. More than a pleasure.
So let's jump into it because, motherhood means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And so I want us to have the same basis when we're discussing motherhood as we go on into the conversation. So for you ladies, what is motherhood, and what's your experience with motherhood?
It's a good question. I really don't have a definition from it. I just know that I do it very well. I want to toot my own horn, but I know I'm good.
Yes.
No, I think it's pouring into other people. I feel like you don't have to have kids to be a mother or to mother somebody. It's somebody that you feel safe with, somebody that provides a foundation for you or helps you through certain situations. I feel like that's how you mother somebody or mother something. You really like nurture it and give it that what they need. Yeah.
I definitely agree with all of that. I also feel like a big part of motherhood is being a positive role model for children and letting them know, like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to do, and trying to lead by example and not just tell them what they need to be doing.
Absolutely.
I think motherhood for me is just love in its truest form. I mean, there's nothing like that. That
Come on,
bond.
Badu.
I mean, there is nothing like that love. So.
She said she's gonna be Badu tonight, y'all, and I'm gonna be
love
jealous
that.
everybody.
I mean, y'all got the hair going on, so it's only right.
CP, what about you? Sorry, Patty, what about you?
So y'all know I wasn't raised by my birth mom. So motherhood for me were all the aunties and the neighborhood grannies and the godparents and the friends of friends that saw, and even teachers. I have a favorite teacher to this day that took a liking to me in high school and mentored me and helped me get to prom and helped me, when I was slipping in my grades and things like that. So women who nurture the children of the community. It doesn't even have to be your child, but the community, the village children, women who pour to others and nurture those children. I think that's what motherhood is. It's not necessarily, by birth. You've got mothers who adopt and mothers who are sisters and, friends who love on our kids as if their children were, or if our children were theirs. So, I think that that's super important, especially because, Mother's Day is a touchy subject for a lot of women because society says that motherhood is for women who, or Mother's Day is for women who have given birth, but there are a lot of women who have suffered from miscarriage or loss of a child, and that doesn't negate the fact that they're a mother. And even if they were expecting a child and weren't able to carry to term, that they still, I think, qualify as a mother, and that is a part of motherhood.
Sure.
So even if your child isn't physically here, Ari, do you have any experience with that?
So when I was in college, my senior year of college, one of my closest friends, she lost my goddaughter. Mm-hmm. So ever since then, I really never wanted to have kids. Everybody knows that I wanted to be the fly auntie that just flew in and out, dropped off the gifts. I came.
And you're still that. You're still
fly
for sure.
No. But that's really what I wanted to do. But I saw how like that affected her, and I never wanted to ever have to think that I was going to feel that feeling. And then I had the girls, but I feel like once you miscarry, you don't stop being a mom. Like you nurtured something in your wound, whether you carried the baby to term or not. For her, she ended up having to deliver. So I like my heart goes out to people who have miscarried and their kids aren't like physically here, but yeah, they're very much still a mom.
Well, for me personally, I actually did miscarry. So, and the timing of it all was kind of really difficult for me because I miscarried the beginning of February, and then Ariel had Rain, and Rain is my goddaughter, and then my cousin had her daughter 2 weeks later. So back to back, I had two little girls come into my life, which at the time was really hard, but throughout the year and a half that it's gotten much easier. And the fact that I actually have these girls to pour my love into has made it that much better for me.
That's
And you do a damn
amazing.
good job with the pouring, so you the mean auntie, but you do a good job. You do a good job.
I am. I'll tell you quick. You want to pow pow? Because that's what you finna get.
Yes,
But
motherhood. Isn't that what it's about? Yes,
Yes.
For me, I've experienced all of the above when it comes to loss of children. I've experienced miscarriage, stillborn, and a child to SID. So it's a tough road. Each grief is different, but from the time you see those two lines on the stick, you're nurturing. So, as far as mothering, sorry, it's so
That's
hard,
okay.
It's okay.
but
It's okay.
it's just it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. But for me, all of mine were back to back. Ooh, Brave falling. You gonna edit that out?
Girl, we just gonna go with the flow at this point. We in this
But
thing.
all of mine were back to back. I had a miscarriage, um, and then I had a stillborn at 20 weeks, and then I got pregnant, had a child, and then later had a SIDS child. So I was forced to still be a mother while grieving. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But again, I wouldn't change anything.
Well, with your loss, the both of you, did either of you ever feel like I don't want to experience this again? Or do you, Asia, do you have reluctance to, you know, go through pregnancy again? And at least you, same question.
definitely, for me, it's like I said, it's only been a year and a half. So in a way, it's still kind of new for me. This honestly, with getting pregnant, like I was so overjoyed because I didn't think I could get pregnant. I actually had a surgical procedure done maybe 6 years ago. And one of the things that she did tell me was there's a chance that you can't have kids. So that was always in the back of my mind. But I was like, if it's God's will, it's going to happen. And then I found out that I was pregnant, I think 3 days after Christmas. And I remember I called Ari and I was like, guess what? And she's like, oh my God, no, 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 no. And then it's like all the excitement came crashing down shortly after. So having to go through that again, I'm honestly petrified. But at the same time, I know, and I have known since I was like 7, that I'm going to be a dope ass mom. And that's one of my goals, is whether I have to adopt, whether I have to have a surrogate, I'm going to be somebody's mother. And I kind of already am, because I have so many nieces and nephews and I have a stepdaughter, but it's different when it's your own connection.
Sure. Um, I never felt scared, so to speak. When we lost our child at 20 weeks, that's really what set in, because prior to, I didn't want children. I just wanted to be me. And when I finally felt that first flutter, and felt that movement, and he would ball up and get onto the side of my stomach.
I missed that. Yeah.
And when that happened, I was like, this is for me. This is for me. And when it was taken from me, I mean, of course, everything happens for a reason, and God has His ways. But right after that, I said, I want to try again immediately.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, we got pregnant again, even though I was supposed to wait 6 weeks, but whatever.
Ma'am.
Keep on,
More
girl.
questions.
Keep on.
My doctor said 3 months, and I was like, yes, ma'am.
We
gonna wrap this thing
yeah,
up.
I was like, no, I'm having a baby. So yeah, we had a loss and a celebration in the same year.
Aries, so that I can relate to what happened with you when I first found out that I was pregnant with Aries. My best friend, my other best friend, Monique, she kind of experienced the same thing. And it was difficult because this was my first child. And I wanted to be excited and share, all of this good news. And she experienced something, traumatic with her situation. And so it made me reluctant to want to talk about all of those things. And that's who you want to go to, right? Because that's your bestie, that you're close to that person. But then you have to be mindful of what they just went through and how that might make them feel, and the reluctance there.
So the cool thing about me and Adrian is one reason why we're one of the closest. Like, she's one of my closest friends. She is like my best friend. I tell her everything. She's the go-to person to almost everything. We don't sugarcoat stuff with each other. Most of the time. Sometimes she get on my nerves. I don't tell her. But anyway, she be knowing.
Likewise.
She be knowing.
We just give each other space.
Yeah, just give us space. But we have this thing, and we always have this rule that we always ask each other, can they hold the space before we start? So when she lost the baby, I knew, because she told me. She was like, I'm going to the hospital. I think something's wrong. So I knew the whole time everything that was happening. And then I had Rain, and she wanted to come to the hospital. And her boyfriend is my cousin. And he was like, oh, I'm going to come up, whatever. But I knew she wasn't coming. It was no way that she could come. Like, I wouldn't even want to put her in that situation. So I had my other best friend was there through the whole time. Rain's dad came, my mom was there. So I had people around me that I loved, and I sent her the picture of Rain, but I didn't expect her to be there. But she ended up coming. I think you came a couple days later, like when I came home. I think you and me did come up. And she seen Rain. But with Asia, what I learned is she has to do stuff at her own pace and at her own time. But I also can't give her too much space because I don't know if you care if I tell people, but she battles from depression. So like, I can't give her too much space. So some days it's just tough love. Like, dog, you can't just isolate yourself from everybody. And at this point, like, you're starting to piss me off because it's like, we can't help you. It's like, it's nothing I can do. So like, with the grief over the last like year and a half, I always try to shower her with like love. So last Mother's Day, not this year, but last year, like, I made sure I got her a gift for the loss of my goddaughter, because it was going to be my goddaughter, Jordan, period. The baby was going to be named Jordan. And just like little stuff like that. So, I mean, at some point, I feel like you just need to know who your person is, and always ask them, can they handle it? And they're not always going to be able to handle what you're trying to give. So it's not that she didn't want to clap or be excited about her godchild. It's just she couldn't handle it, and it wasn't fair for me to try to like push Rain on her. But she loves her nieces, so it's nothing against it if she doesn't come around or something like that. I know what, like, it's from a good place.
My miscarriage was with someone who I was dating, and they were present when I went through it. Like, physically, we had to go to the hospital, and they were there. But emotionally, afterwards, that person was not present. It was kind of like, a relief for them, because they were not ready to be a parent. And that's perfectly fine, but they didn't hold space for me and what I was experiencing, because, whether you want the child or not, depending on what your situation is, dealing with that is still traumatic regardless, because it's not your choice. Right. And so in that situation, although he was physically present when I lost the child, him being aloof really hurt me, because I was too ashamed to tell my friends, because it was a situation that they knew I shouldn't have been in. And I didn't feel like I could go to anybody else. So it was an experience that I should have shared with him, but he wasn't there to help me through it. And I really dealt with that alone. And I'm, even to this day, unpacking a lot of the hurt from that. ladies, in y'all's experience, what was, who was there for you all, and what were the fathers, their reaction like?
Definitely Ari. Like she was there. Like I remember, I think it was the day after, because it happened on a Saturday, and she came to my house Sunday, and I honestly didn't want her to, and she knew that, but
I
she
popped up.
also she does not take no for an answer.
Fuck, I'm
She was
popping up.
like, "Come outside, I'm at the door." I was like,
Popping up, y'all. What's
"Okay."
up?
And then just like, so my family, my parents and my younger brother, they live in New Jersey, and I'm in Virginia. So that was very hard for me, being in that situation and not having my mom physically there, because my mom is honestly like my best friend. We have a great relationship. I talk to her every day. So that was difficult. Whew, Lord.
You can cry, girl.
so,
Cry. We doing some healing today. Fix your
so
life.
the people, it's still kind of hurtful for me, because there are 3 specific people who to this day have not asked me, am I okay? And honestly, it still bothers me, but I'm trying to let it go. And they are people that I'm related to by blood. And I wish that I could say this to them, but I'm honestly not ready to have that conversation with them yet. And when it came to my boyfriend, like, he was amazing. He never left my side the whole time. He still hasn't. And he actually sent me to New Jersey for a week, right at, like, it happened Saturday. I was on a train on Tuesday to go and be with my mom. And I didn't understand it at the time. I'm like, why are you pushing me to go and see my mom? Like, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit here. But I needed that. And I think he needed the space too, because he couldn't be strong for me and be strong for himself, because he wanted this baby just as much as I did.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other piece of it, right? There are fathers who feel that loss because they wanted to be parents too. And I don't think that we think about them as much and how they cope with the grief process. So that's a really interesting perspective.
Um, for me, each scenario was different, because I had, different situations each time. When we had our stillborn, his name is also Jaden.
That's actually, for those who don't know, where I got baby Jade, a piece of where I got baby Jaden's name.
Yeah. So when I went into full blown labor at 20 weeks, I was actually 20 weeks and 5 days. We went to the hospital. I mean, had contractions and all, as if I was 9 months. And they actually put me in a room, and they were like, "Oh, you're having a baby today. You're, fully dilated." And I'm like, "Girl, what? I'm 5 months." So they kind of just left me there. They sent like this advocate in the room, and um, she said, "Unfortunately, we don't resuscitate children unless they're 21 weeks gestation or longer." And I'm like, "So I'm 2 days shy." And she said, "I'm sorry," and walked out. So, I called up my friends. I think I called up 2 friends, and they brought the squad, honey. I had 30 people in that room. They were telling me I could only have 3 people at a time. It was 30 people in there. They went to sleep with me. They rubbed my stomach. They were there for me for every tear. They were there for me to give birth. Um, he was breathing for the most part until, the final push. And that's when he did stop breathing. So he almost made it. But yeah, it was dope that I had that much love around me to get through it at the hospital, and I needed every bit of that. From my parents to my brother to close friends, their husbands came, and they all literally stayed with me, standing up asleep with me. So that was great. The hardest one was when we lost our daughter to SIDS, and that was the one that I didn't really get the opportunity to grieve, because I still had to be mommy. I still had to be a wife. and it made it extremely difficult because I had a set of twins and one of the twins passed. So I still had another baby that was identical to my baby I just lost. So trying to hold her and keep from crying because she looks just like her, and just dealing with that. And my husband's not great with death at all. So trying to console him, and him crying on and off, him not being able to go to work because he's trying to deal with it too. And I have to be strong for everybody. And even my son was grieving, and he was only a year old. Not even. They're only 8 months apart.
Mm.
And even him was still kind of calling her name and, girl, this hair. But
it's trying to join the conversation.
Yes. But, he was calling her name and trying to find where she was. So it was a constant battle of not being able to fully grieve and get through it. I just had to be the strong one. But one thing I can say I learned is it's okay to say you're not okay. And I think some people don't realize that, especially during like a grieving moment. It is okay to not be okay. It is okay to take the break you need. It is okay to grieve. Everybody can't be strong all the time. And always being the strong friend, the strong family member, the strong mom. We all need that break.
Absolutely. Well, with all of that, and Ari, you kind of alluded to it as well. You were there for Asia, and Asia, with everything that you deal with, Ari coming and making sure that you're okay and trying to pull you out of that. What's some advice that y'all have for people that are dealing with, and Ari, you too, because you've dealt with loss and a significant loss. How do you all handle loss and grief, and what's your advice on that?
So, y'all know we record on Tuesday. So on yesterday, Monday night, Monday, the whole day was the anniversary of my dad's death. And I can still replay every single day from 7 p.m. We were doing a live stream on Periscope. I got the call from 7 p.m. that night till like the next day at 3 p.m. when I was go pick up his clothes and ID his body. I can tell you every single thing that happened. But what I always remember is that my grandma was like, you have to be strong. You got to take care of all this stuff. Blase, blase. People kept texting me like, oh, be strong, be strong, be strong. You do not have to be strong. I hate that statement. Don't tell anybody to be strong. What's the purpose of being strong? I don't understand. I don't understand the point. I don't understand the phrase. Like, you're going through something that is literally going to shift you from whatever state that you're in. You're never going to be the same again. No matter how hard you try, you'll never go back to the way you were before you found out that news. So why be strong? For what? But I will say that, like, helping Asia through her stuff and dealing with her, I sometimes get mad at her when she isolates. Because to me, I don't feel like you can heal and isolate at the same time. You just can't. Because you're going to live in your head when you do that. And when people live in their head, they are trying to process so many things and they block out everybody else's emotions. So we could be pouring so much love on her, but she'll never see it. Because to her, she's just in this state where it's like, I got to go through this. I got to do it myself. Nobody wants to see me cry. Nobody wants to do da-da-da. No, bitch, come over here and cry. Let's cry together. What we need to do today. Because this isn't healthy to just be sitting by yourself all the time. Like, nobody can just process that. Like, I don't think people should be alone when they're trying to heal or they're trying to grieve.
And that's Patty too. That's why she over there shaking her head.
Listen. We are work in progress.
I'm so guilty of that.
We are a work in progress.
I will say she been working on it. I give you that. But honey, this last decade, girl.
Oh, and it's been ugly. It's been a lot of stuff that we've gone through where, look, she will text me and be like, so I ain't hear from you in a month, so that's what we doing.
Right. Honey, you got your space now.
Right. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her a couple days. All right, I think we good again.
And then she popping up talking about something, I'm outside.
If she lived down the street, no shade, I wouldn't been pull up. But the 2 hours, I'd be like,
should I go or should I not?
Am I jumping in?
That's how it used to be when Ariel lived up the way. Then she'd just be like, all right, well, I'm coming down to mom's this weekend, so make sure you stop by.
Like, what time you coming over? I'll be like, Mom, I gotta go see Asia, so can you keep the girls and let me just go step out? But okay, so Asia, what do you do? Brown sugar.
Okay, so I definitely had to learn and still learning. I've gotten better, but it's still times where I do just want to isolate and be by myself. And the reason behind it is because I know everybody has their own baggage to unpack. So a part of me feels selfish for asking someone else to unpack
Asia,
my baggage
I see
when they got their
me
own.
and you are the same person.
Girl, because it's like I feel, especially when it came to me having my miscarriage, I wanted to be around Ariel, but at the same time, I know she went through postpartum with Avery. So I was like, I don't know if she's going through postpartum with Rain. And part of me wanted to ask, but part of me, I didn't want to because I knew I could not hold the space for that. So learning how to say, hey, I'm going to isolate myself for a couple days. If I don't check in with you, make sure I'm good. But being able to say, I need this time. I've learned that I can't just shut everybody out because like she said, they're trying to pour all this love onto me and I'm not receiving it because I'm turning you off. When in turn, I need to just say, hey, listen, I need some time. I need a little bit of space. Check in with me in 3 to 5 business days and we're going to be good.
See, I'm learning that too. Like that's new for me. And and I had to explain to Leash, I didn't grow up like that, like where people really listened or cared or showed that level of concern. So it's new to me. So when I disappeared, like, Leash knows I didn't talk to my dad for 4 years and neither of us blinked. Neither of us batted an eyelash. It was not concerning. So when she was genuinely hurt that I hadn't reached out and I was like, but it's not intentional. Like, I swear it's not me saying I don't love you or like we're not cool. But I had to realize that I have to be just as present. And I wasn't being a good friend because even though I had so much going on, I was being selfish and surrounding myself with people who I knew weren't going to call me on, let's be honest, who weren't going to call it like it was, because Alicia will be the first person to be like, nah, bitch.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't want that reflection.
Right.
So what I've gotten better at doing is if I'm doing something that I know she might be like, I'm like, listen, so don't judge me, but, and then
I already did such and such. She gonna do it first.
Still have the opportunity to have the conversation, her to give me the feedback, but I've learned to not feel like she's judging me because she is my friend and she's gonna have an opinion on what I do. I mean, that's just human. And B, I don't have to do things alone or go through things alone. So
The biggest thing is that baggage is heavy. And I'm here to help you pull that bag, girl.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through something, I'm going through something. We going through something.
All the time.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
And I think sometimes thing is we're always going through something. So I can't say wait until I get it together and I'll be right back, because then when I come back, you're going through it. We need to go through it together and we'll be each other's crutch.
So I'm all for the let me help you pull your baggage, but bitch, don't keep on bringing these bags over here. Because I know I keep going back and double back for the same bag.
She sure do.
And I keep just taking a little pieces out the bag and go, okay, it's not as heavy this time. Let's try it.
And then she get mad at me when I want to read her for filth. Well,
don't read it. Because my bag is light now, okay? We're doing a light load now. We're doing a light load. But no, we're not going to keep on to the same bag. Bring me a new bag next time.
Fair. Fair. Okay, so we're switching gears a little bit. But Asia, you can definitely chime in on this, because even though you're not necessarily in a co-parenting or parenting situation, you were a child once. You know what parenting looks like, and you are a godmother, auntie, so
stepmama, all
of that. Oh, there you go. So, girl, you could talk about co-parenting from a perspective that I sure cannot. We're about to be
turns back.
So
we here for y'all.
Let's start with. So I've got experience on both sides of the coin. I was married. My children, my 2 older children, were raised for a very long time in a 2-parent household. We got divorced, and then we started doing the co-parenting thing. That was super ugly when we first started. We couldn't even talk to one another. We did drop-offs and barely said hi or bye. We would open the door, let the kids out. They would hop into the next car. It was like a drug deal. And then and it was because the wounds were still fresh, but we learned to not argue in front of the kids. And I think that was the best part, is they always saw us respectful to one another, even when we could not stand each other. And then eventually we grew back into a friendship, and we are where we are today. And then my youngest son's father, he has other children, and I tried to kind of step into the role of stepmother. We weren't together for very long, but honey, kudos to the stepmoms out there, because seeing the co-parenting with other women, and they don't parent the way you would, and they have that nice nasty thing going on. I don't think that I want to be a stepmother. That's not something that I think and it's not because of the kids. Now, if it was a widower, we could talk. But if they still alive, what has been, let's start with the 2-parent household. Like, what's been y'all's experience with that? And then we'll go into what's co-parenting like.
So I'm gonna keep it player. Like, I was raised in a 2-parent household, but I was raised in a 2-parent household with my mom and my dad, who was really not my biological dad. Like, a lot of people don't really know that. They kind of know now because of my father's passing or whatever. But my whole childhood, they couldn't tell the difference. But I always knew the difference. So my whole thing was, I never wanted to put my kids in a situation where they had to split holidays. That was always the framework. I don't care what else we do, but they can never split a holiday. Because to me, that's like, you're trying to figure out who you love more type thing. Like, who do I spend Christmas with? Who do I spend Thanksgiving with? The other parent's going to feel bad. So I'm like, all right, whatever I do, I'm going to keep a 2-parent household. But when you start going through some shit in relationships, the only thing that you really care about is making sure your child is raised properly and they're happy, okay? This whole, I want to do it for the kids. I want my kids to see both parents. No, you want to see your kids be happy and healthy. Fuck that whole relationship shit. That shit gonna come and go at the end of the day. Like,
For me, I was, listen, because Ari, she got some stories, okay? But for me, my parents have actually been married for, let's see, I'm 30, so they've been married for 27 years. I have known nothing but my mom and my dad. Not to say that it was always great, but the love was always there. They always made sure that we were well taken care of, and I never, I never questioned their love for each other, let alone us. So I think that's something that I am striving to do. Like, my boyfriend does have a daughter, but I made it very clear, if we split up, I'm on one side of the house, you on the other. That's just how it's going to be, because we're going to be raising this baby together.
How is it with you being a stepmother, or, a stepmom figure to the daughter?
Well, I love Kari. I love her. She is going to be 10 next month, actually. I have been in her life since she was born, but consecutively since she was 2. And Kari and I have an amazing relationship. When she comes up, I make it a point to do fun things with her. We have arts and crafts time. We spend time outside. I make time to, even like, Brandon has his own store, so he kind of just, fluctuates his schedule. But for me, I have a set schedule. So I'll make sure that I have like a certain evening or a certain weekend day that we can just go and do certain stuff together. And I love my relationship with her. As far as co-parenting goes, that's a whole nother topic.
No, it's a work in progress. Hey, it can only go up from here.
That's the truth, because it can't get any worse.
Y'all remember that she dates my cousin, so I'm just gonna stay neutral.
Oh, that's right. But let's not, because Ari was throwing some tweets back in the day, so let's not do that. You on my side.
On another note,
thank you.
I grew up.
Well, what you say, sis? You grew up.
I grew up in a 2-parent household, but it was a little bit different. So my parents were married for about 20 years, but my father was a long distance CDL truck driver. So I only saw him 1 week out of a month. So he would be home for a week, gone 3 weeks type of situation. So he really wasn't around. It was really more of my mom parenting us. But when I was about 11, he decided to come off of doing long distance and only did local, and he was home all the time. Um, and it was not the greatest. So that's when I really got to learn my dad. I learned a lot of things I wish I did not learn about my dad. But needless to say, about 5 years later, that's when they got divorced. My mom eventually introduced me to someone else. I want to say maybe about 2 years after. I think it was my senior year of high school, and yeah, he was dope. He was white. Yeah, honey, he was
Spice it up,
white.
honey.
Yeah,
Spice
and
it.
I enjoyed it. I was here for it. My mother was happy. Um, let me do what I want to do for my last year of high school, which was great because she was dating, so that was
Ask him if
always
he got
nice.
any Irish in him, and it's his people from North Carolina.
Oh, he might. So yeah, they were married for about 10 years. So, but she's single now. But
And
my
her mama
kids
looked
are.
just like her, baddie.
She got a little better shape though. I need to get like her.
Her mama fine.
Yes, and my mom is in her 60s.
Mm.
Yeah, Angela Bassett, honey. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, you look like Angie. But no, what I was gonna say was as far as my kids are concerned, I am married. My children who passed, as well as my current children, are all by my husband. So we've co-parented. We have separated for a few years, and that was whoo, child. But that co-parenting was lack thereof. So my kids kind of experienced seeing me as a single parent for a while. My husband was incarcerated for about a year. So they really had to know what it was like with their dad not being around, period. Um, so I did allow them to visit. At first I didn't, but I allowed them to visit that, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad they got to experience the real life of that. They understood why daddy couldn't do this for them or do that for them. Um, and I think it kind of opened our eyes a little bit to be better parents for them. And yeah, so now we're back together. Everything's great and peachy keen. So
Ooh, that incarceration hit you different when Rain was born last year. Quan was her dad. Quan, he was locked up. He was home on a 72-hour furlough when I gave birth.
really,
Yeah, I wrote a blog about it. Like, we had to submit some documents through his lawyer, had to have it approved. He literally could not go to the hospital until I checked in. So we had to check in. I had my brother stay at the prison at the jail. So as soon as I checked in, we called the prison. We were like, "Look, I'm going in today." They were like, "Well, we got to get it, verified." We had to fax a piece of paper over to the jail that says I have been checked in. And
wow,
then when that happened, he was released. My brother drove him 2 hours in a snowstorm to come, and he had 72 hours from the time she took her first breath. So at 11:20 p.m. that night,
oh, they
that's when his
counted to like the minute.
yeah, he had to be back 72 hours from 11:20 p.m. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the hospital actually found out. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, sis, but the
No, you're
hospital
good.
found out that he was on a furlough. And I try to keep it a secret. I was like, oh, he just blah, blah, blah. I try to keep it as low key as
Right,
possible
right.
because I knew they was going to say something. So I'm like, why I can't leave? Like, this is long. I had a quick birth. I pushed her out in 13 minutes. Like, I'm
Yeah, let's go.
recovering good. Like, let's go home. At least we have a day at home with him. A social worker came in. She's like, well, I just want to make sure you're okay because we got wind that he is incarcerated. I said, yeah, for a probation violation. The crime has been done. He just didn't follow his probation.
Right.
He's doing about another 6 months. Like, we good. Like, what's up? She was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, you're not being harmed. I'm like, dog, let's go. I'm tired. I just had a whole ass
Yeah.
birth. Like, come on. But
I never
yeah,
even thought about that scenario on
yeah.
how they really, yeah, I never thought about that.
72 hours had to approve him. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, my dad actually missed the birth of my little brother because he was incarcerated. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all, it takes a village to
A whole
raise
lot.
all the village children, but
Mm-hmm.
the village also has opinions on how you raise your children. Does everybody get a say? Do we listen to everybody and their opinions and what they got to say, and whether breast is best, and don't give that baby no pacifier, and girl, you better put that baby in pull-ups. Why your baby still gotta whatever. Everybody has an opinion, and you're inundated, especially as new moms. You're inundated with people just trying to tell you what you should be doing and what's best and what have you before you can even settle into motherhood. What's y'all's experience with that? And do we take the village voice? Do you have to take the village voice because you need the village help?
Nah, so I love my village. I love how they pour into the girls. I love everything they do for the girls, but I don't always listen to them. And I don't, because when I was alone with Avery and I was battling postpartum, because Donovan was back at work. So favorite baby daddy, he went back to work a week later. And I was just home. Like, you really trying to figure it out. So she didn't latch well. So was I going to continue to battle that? I was trying to pump, and I would pump 1 ounce. So do I starve my baby, or do I go give her formula? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. My mom had to go back to work. She was there for a week. His mom was only there for a week. He has to go back to work. I'm sitting in this house. I'm not busy enough. I can't move how I want to move. I really shouldn't be back and forth with this baby on the highway. What the fuck do? You a new mom. You just figure shit out. You keep calling it like, put some cereal in your milk. My child is 3 days old. I can't put no fucking cereal in their milk at 3 days old. The fuck I'm supposed to do with some fucking cereal at 3 days old? Like, come on now, honestly. So even today, they like, oh, Avery spoiled because she was your first baby and you let her do. I did spoil her. So it's on me that I got to learn how to discipline her. But she's my child at the end of the day. And I think that any parent or any family member that tries to tell you like, oh, you need to do it this way, look at the fuck how they raised us. They raised us on a prayer. They ain't know what the fuck they was doing either. It just so happens that we wanted better and we're trying to break generational curses currently. Like, it just is what it is. So I feel like nobody has the fucking blueprint. There's no blueprint to this motherhood thing. So you just do the best that you can.
I definitely agree. Because Ari don't listen to nobody. And that's what I envy about her, honestly, because she doesn't take into account other people's opinions or any of that when it comes to her kids, because like she said, they are her kids. And that's how it should be. And that's how I want to mother my kids. Because I do, like, my mom, I know she'll be laid back and relaxed. Brandon's mom, on the other hand, she going to be a little bit overbearing. I'm going to have to be like, Lisa, chill out. This is not your baby. But it's certain people, like, I think when you're in it, like, you know whose opinions hold weight and whose don't. You know, like, the girl that's on your Facebook status that ain't got custody of her kids, you're not gonna listen to her.
I know a couple of them.
We should all know several, I'm sure. But they be the first ones. Like, I know there's a girl that I went to high school with who posted and announced her pregnancy. And there's all these people on her status telling her that they hope she breastfeeds and they hope she does this and that. And she told everybody, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, it's not your baby. This is my first child. I'm going to do it how I see fit. And that's just that.
Yes, I respect that. Well, I respect that. And can we also take a moment for the brand new moms who are 5 minutes pregnant, who now have the blueprint for everybody? No shade, but all things.
Exactly.
I'm over it. Don't teach me nothing.
Right. And for me, like, okay, so one thing is, you know how the old folks always say you don't announce your pregnancy until you're into your second trimester.
Right.
I did not do that. I was 8 weeks when I announced. And I was almost 12 weeks when I miscarried. So, of course, I deactivated my Facebook because I was it was so many emotions. I was hurt. I was ashamed because I was like, oh man, like all of my elders are now going to say, well, this is why you don't tell people until you're 3 months. But honestly, if I'm happy about something, I'm going to share that shit. Because if it's people that are in my corner that I know they're going to be happy for me, why would I not tell them? Why would I not want to share that with them?
Right.
Listen. Don't nobody hold no weight when it comes to Tristan and Ava Maria, okay? Period. Don't nobody hold no weight, and especially not if I didn't ask you. if I ask you a question about my kid, then I'm here to listen. So I'm asking for the opinion. But if I haven't actually asked you a question, it don't mean nothing. You can share it if you want, but it doesn't hold any weight for me, period.
The only thing I wish I would have done differently is I wish that I would have spoiled Aries and Maya a lot more. And I say spoiled, right? But I
You
don't
can't
really
spoil a
think you can.
child.
Right.
You
I
can't
don't
spoil
really
a
feel like
child.
you can spoil a child. What do you mean? Love them too much? Hug them too much? Some of these little knickknacks running around here should have been hugged a lot more as kids. That's why they out here acting a fool. I wish that I would have embrace them more and instead of trying to push them to be tough, allow them to be children, because I mean they're great kids, do not get me wrong, I don't feel like I made a mistake, but I see the moments that I missed with them that I'm getting with Jaden, and I'm like, dang, I really wish I could have done a lot more of that. And it was because I was listening to older people telling me, you don't want to do that, let that baby cry, don't pick that baby up. Listen, pick your baby up. Let your baby cry into your shoulders. Kiss on that baby. Love on your baby. That's your child. Period.
So the funniest thing is, and then we're gonna go to our favorite part of the show. The funniest part was one day I let my mom keep Avery. It was just when it was just Avery, and my aunts were down from Jersey. I walk in the house, and my aunt was like, "Just to let you know, Avery, we did not do that. She da 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 da." Like they knew I don't play about my daughters. At the end of the day, don't try to do nothing that I would not do when I'm not around. This is how they are. There is no over loving them. They're not spoiled. Yes, a relaxed discipline. We all know that. We're working on it, and that's on me because a lot of things I wouldn't tell her no. Why tell her no? She's just being a child. I think that kids need to be kids at the end of the day. You got to let them go through their stages. Because if you just putting them on okay, don't do this, just sit here, don't do this. What kind of childhood is that? They gonna spaz out later in life. So you gotta just go through the motions, figure out what type of child you have. I know Avery's bullheaded like me. Her mouth's smart. She likes to be a jokester. So now I gotta figure out I gotta put discipline in there. I gotta figure that out. But that's on me to figure that out. Don't try to tell me my kid bad because I'm letting her be a kid. She fucking too.
Right. I actually had it recently as 2 days ago. Matter of fact, on Mother's Day. Because I allow my kids to express themselves verbally. If you feel a way, you tell me you feel a way, even if it involves me. If you honestly don't agree with something I said, say why. I'm willing to allow you to say why. Back in the day, in the 90s, honey, we couldn't ask our parent why. Because I said so. That was your response.
Or your
Well, for
teeth
me,
be on the floor.
okay. So, I want to say Ava asked something, or I told Ava to do something. She's like, well, but I already did this. And I'm like, well, let me explain. You know what I mean? And you're like, you explaining that to your child?
I am.
Keyword, my child.
I am.
Go ahead, sis.
Oh, I think the biggest thing is people are just so stuck in ways from back in the day. And we haven't taken the time out to really look at what the results of that actually is, which are these adults we have now. So I think we need to be revisiting some things. But again, that's just my opinion as far as being a parent. But I'm definitely here for explain yourself. And don't let somebody just tell you something and you okay with somebody just telling you something. If somebody tells you something, say, that's not right. Tell them it ain't right. Tell them something wrong with it. Well, that don't make no sense. Tell them it don't make no sense.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Lisa, is that a lot of us who were told not to question things when we were younger, now we're the adults who are passive, who don't ask questions, who can't have adult conflict. I'm one of them. It's hard for me. I try to avoid conflict because I'm uncomfortable with it because of how I was brought up. So this is absolutely correct what you're saying.
I saw something that said it was basically like, your parents want you to raise your children for a world that no longer exists. And that is so true.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, y'all. Look, thank y'all for coming on the show.
Yeah.
It was real cute. But this is our favorite part of the show, okay? So, unpopular opinion. Let's kick us off. What you got? Because you told me you was going to be nervous to give us the drop. So what's that?
I got to think of something as far as motherhood or parenting or something like that.
Girl,
And
anything.
honestly, for me, is just because that's your parent does not mean you have to respect them.
Girl, let's talk about it. RESPECT, find out what it means to me, girl.
Yes, because it takes respect to get it, whether parent or not. Now, I know the Bible we done read. You know, we should honor thy mother and thy father.
Should. Jesus said so.
But
Say so.
I need you to give me that respect I need in order you to get the respect that you need. So that's all I
like
got.
that. I agree with that unpopular opinion. That's a fave.
Ooh,
That's
so
a fave.
Asia. Brown sugar and
Okay.
saison. Saison.
Okay, with your little Dominican accent. Go ahead.
Yes.
Y'all, I'm ready.
So I had to think about one because I'm really not good with this. But what my unpopular opinion is that there is a such thing as healthy competition amongst friends. Like, people always like to say that you shouldn't compete with your friends, but I say that that's wrong, because if you have people that are at the same table as you and they are eating, why wouldn't you want to be in competition so that you can have something else to bring to the table as well?
Come through.
I like
A
that.
word.
I'm just saying.
I
A
like that
word.
one. I like that one.
And there's
That
a
was
difference between competition and jealousy or envy.
Yeah.
Compete, but don't
Exactly.
be envious. You know,
Right.
there's room
Yes.
for, I always say this, there's room for all of us at the table. And healthy competition is us pushing each other to do better.
exactly.
Oh, I love that,
Yes.
Asia. Yes.
Yes.
Well, my unpopular opinion this week, it's for the mothers, but it's for all women who nurture children. People say Mother's Day is for mothers. I say you don't have to have, physically given birth to be a mother. There are many women who have nurtured children that are not their own. Raising your own child is one thing, but to raise a child as your own is something completely different. And as much as I love my children, I feel like it's easier for me to love on them unconditionally because they're from my womb. But can you imagine how much work it takes to really love another child the way you love a child from your body? So I think this one goes out. Mother's Day should be to all the aunties, the grannies, the godmommies, the sisters of the village. Happy Mother's Day to all of y'all. You correcting that child in that store. Thank you.
Yes.
All the mothers,
Yes.
all the women, all the mothers, all the nurturers out there.
So y'all, I ain't gonna put no names, nobody on blast, but I'm just gonna say the men have been venting to your girl lately. I don't know, I guess I have like a healing spirit that people be coming to me. And a lot of men
you got a Jill Scott spirit.
You're beautiful. You're really beautiful. You're just really...
Listen, y'all know Jilly and Erica was on that joint flirting. I'm gonna be Erica tonight. You keep on.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. I really love you. Thank you. Thank you. But no, so this one's out for them. Two-parent household is not better than a one-parent household when the co-parenting is effective. Let's be honest. Men, women, everybody. You do not have
Hold
to
on a
stay
minute.
somewhere.
Say it again.
Say it one more time.
Say it again for the people in the back.
A two-parent household is not better than a one-parent household when you co-parent correctly and your child is loved, okay?
Yes.
Period. Like, don't stay somewhere because, I want my kids to see both their parents. Your kid's not dumb. And this is what I told one of the dudes. I said, your kid not dumb. You got kids outside your relationship. What you think they think?
Right.
You think they happy? You think they think your relationship is good? Because it's not. Because they see the difference. They know they got younger brothers and sisters that's not with their mom.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't be staying
forget
somewhere just
kids are
because you
human.
want to stay somewhere. Right. Kids is human. They pick up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell y'all this and then we're going to end it. Avery's dad. My favorite baby daddy. When we first started dating.
Girl with the favorite.
That's my favorite baby daddy.
We all got a favorite.
When we started dating, his daughter was what I used to call my little BFF. So when we stopped dating, I didn't see her. So she's chilling with me this week for a week. Me and her mom talked it out. We worked it out. She's here for a week. She was so she's still very standoffish, uncomfortable. We used to have this great vibe. Now it's like we're trying to rebuild that vibe. Mm-hmm. And I literally had to say hi to her mom in front of her in order for her to realize that we were cool enough for her to do that. Mm-hmm. So these kids is watching, okay?
Yeah.
So y'all don't think that just because y'all come in and out no, your kids know everything that's going on. Don't stay if you're not happy. You won't fuck them up in the end.
Yeah,
completely
for sure.
agree.
So that's T, sis. Wrap this shit
Listen.
up.
Well, before we wrap it up, I'm going to let the ladies, do you have anything you want to plug? Do you want people to follow y'all on social media? Where can the people hear more from you? Any of that good stuff?
Well, y'all can follow my blog. It's at Brown Sugar and Saison. That's Brown Sugar, ANDSAZON.
ZZZON. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. My blog is under construction, but it will be
Cool.
here in the late fall. But you can
Yes.
always follow me on IG at _NikkiB87.
And we just want to thank you ladies for joining us. Before I wrap up, the show, we have one more thing to do. So we did a Mother's Day giveaway.
We did.
And we have a winner. And listen, her friends wrote for her. They were on my IG, leaving her name in the comments.
Hold on, sis. Before you announce it, y'all don't follow rules very well, because I hit Patty up. I'm like, girl, ain't nobody into our giveaway. She said, oh, no, they DM'd us. I told y'all to comment.
Oh, no, they did comment. They commented on mine.
Oh, on yours. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they commented on mine. So they commented on my page. Then they went and followed all the other pages and DM'd the On Mother's page. So they did do it. They did do it. They just followed it out of order, but they did.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, congratulations to Samantha Hayes. One of her besties, well, she had a couple people that nominated her, but one of her besties left us this message. So I feel like I should read it because it was very heartfelt. It says, "Hi, I'd love to nominate my best friend, spiritual advisor. So come on, spiritual advisor, and personal inspiration, Samantha Hayes. This woman has been my friend for 14 years. When I met her, she was a teen mom working hard to graduate and make something of her life. She raised her son alone and went to culinary school to become a chef. During this time, she worked, studied, and raised a young man all alone while fighting with her family to grow into a woman who now has her own business, a spirit that transcends religion, and a wisdom of a woman twice her age. She guides me when I feel down or lost and always inspires me to pursue my dreams. I would love her to win your giveaway, but in all honesty, just putting in writing how I feel about Samantha and letting someone else know of her magnificence is enough. She deserves so many things. I just hope my words can inspire you to give her something special." So congratulations to her. And we will be giving her something special in addition to a bundle that we'll be giving her. We are also going to be sending her some select cocktails from Premier Cocktails and a package from Body by Bree. So that will be in the mail shortly. So Samantha, look out for that. Congratulations to you. Ari, you got any last words before I close us out?
Nah, sis, I think we're gonna wrap this thing on up tonight. Just go ahead, hit it.
All right. Well, if you enjoy us, as we know you do, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, and SoundCloud. Just search On Muvas. That's ONMUVAS podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We got a Facebook page now, and that's On Muvas podcast. Ari, how can the people get in touch with you, girl?
You already know the IG drop is ARILAWAN_. That's Ari Lawan _ on all social media. Follow me, I follow back.
And of course, I'm Chatty Patty DC on all social media. Be sure to leave us a comment and tune in to us next Wednesday as we drop weekly. We out of here.
Yeah, you already know Wednesdays belong to the mothers, and we're over it.